Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I'm an author, speaker, and success coach who helps women believe in themselves, build confidence, and take action. In 2009, my husband Ryan and I were laid off at the same time, and we moved to the Florida Keys without jobs, not knowing anyone, hardly any money, and we never even been here. But we made it. And now, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but we're living our best lives. All along in our journey, I've always said that someday when we get our shit together, we will help others. So each week, my intent is to be relatable and bring you tactical tips, tools, share my learnings and stories that can help inspire or transform you wherever you are in your career or general life and make an impact. I strongly believe that if I can do it, you can do it too. So what's stopping you? Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I am so excited. I have my gorgeous niece, Sienna Krieg, with me today as a co-host. Welcome, Sienna.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. We have a lot to talk about today. Are you excited?
Yes, I am.
Yes. And if anyone listened to the podcast last week, I gave a little sneak preview. And the two things that we're going to talk about today that Sienna has a lot to share about because she's had a busy month or so.
For sure.
Is number one, her soul introductory reading that she had with Debbra Lupien, who has been on this podcast many times. And that she is also writing on medium.com as well as I do. And she's going to share that journey as well. So why don't you kick it off, Sienna, and share about your reading with Deborah?
My reading with Deborah, it was just so eye-opening to me because I didn't really understand some parts of myself until that moment. And she shared multiple different things with me, such as different gifts, my soul tribe and soul specialization, and the lesson that I should learn or embody while being on this earth. And it was really interesting just to learn all these different aspects and parts of myself.
Yeah. The cool thing about the reading with Deborah is if any of you out there have ever had a tarot card reading or a reading with a psychic or a medium, this is something completely different. Deborah does prep work before the Zoom call and really taps into your Akashic Records. She is the voice of the Akashic Records and shares with you your gift, which there's one of 8 gifts. And then, shares where your soul tribe's from and really gives some enlightening information that can help you on your path. So what is your soul gift, Sienna?
So typically a person has about one, but apparently I have 2 gifts. And I was like, whoa, from that.
Yes, it's very rare. So it was really cool. What were your 2 gifts? What are your 2 gifts, I should say?
My primary gift is being an adventurous creator, and my secondary is the Truthteller.
Wow. And how did that feel to you when she shared that with you? Did you have surprises, or did it kind of make sense right away? What were your thoughts that went through your head?
Yeah, with Adventurous Creator, some of the things she explained about it did surprise me, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But mostly with the Truthteller, I really resonated with that one.
Mm-hmm. And the Truthteller, do you want to share a little bit of context around that and maybe an example? Because I think it's really important to dive into that one a little bit too.
Yeah, so she was describing the Truthteller as a natural lie detector and a person who could see the pure truth and spread it. So basically with me, definitely at school, I can tell when people lie, and it's just okay. And my job basically with this is to spread the truth, basically, but she was explaining how I should do it more in a way that people could not be truly offended by it, because she said that I could be a little direct with it. So she said that it was more of like doing it in more of a calmer way by spreading the truth instead of more direct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think there's a lot to be said in that it's just really important and amazing that you learned this at this age, at age 16. I think that's just incredible, because often, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll just say this as a general example, because I'm not a truth teller per se, but I can empathize. Sometimes you say something, right? And then you're like, oh, that didn't land very well, like on the person you're talking to or your audience. Right. So yeah, there's a lot to fine tune, within that for anyone, let alone if someone has that as their gift. It can be something that can be a little challenging if you end up being polarizing or share something that maybe someone's not ready for,
Yeah.
So it's interesting too, because I think it's really an amazing gift to have. Like when you had told me that, and I was thinking about it even more, there are some really successful people, however you want to quantify success, but people that have made names for themselves that are along those lines. And, whether or not you like the person, that's a whole other topic, right? So there's like Howard Stern, Joe Rogan, you can put Greta Thunberg in there, or, Candace Owens. I'm sure there's also many other political people. I'm just not really into politics that much. So these are just some people that I see pop up that I feel are very outspoken with trying to tell the truth and share something, whether you choose to believe it or not. And it can be also very triggering if you're not open to accept the fact that someone might not like what you're saying.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lessons in that for people to become energetically aligned with how comfortable they feel sharing the truth. Because if you are going to be someone who's outspoken, let's say, and let's say a lot of the population doesn't like what you have to say or doesn't agree with you, which is just life. If you're not able to accept that negative energy, then you're going to have a hard time still sharing your truth. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really getting comfortable with that and understanding the triggers around it and not being triggered by it if someone doesn't agree with you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's going to be a big job for you in general, because it's a big job. Nothing about you.
Yeah.
That's a big task in this lifetime to have as a gift to be a truth teller, because you end up facing, a lot of people that don't want to hear it or don't believe you or don't agree. It's just how life is, how people behave. So I think that's really, really cool. Now about the other one, what's the adventurous? Can you say it again for everyone?
The adventurous creator.
Adventurous creator. How would you say that shows up for you now in your life?
I actually would say it shows up in work, like with physicality, which is like a strong part of being an adventurous creator. Deborah was explaining how adventurous creators like to be in the physical realm, and they like to move around, get some exercise, dive into their senses. And with work, I can definitely see that. And an example of this is one time my friend was like, I don't know how you can work so much. How are you not exhausted? And I was like, I love it. Like, I love moving around. I like running around, getting people's drinks, doing tons of different things, talking to different people. It's just fun to me.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. And a really cool example too, because you do really thrive at your jobs. I mean, this is the first job you had over the summer was summertime employment, and you did really well. And now you're doing really well at Shoes Pizza too. So that is really cool. And that's a cool thing to recognize. Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if Deborah knows if she's ever worked with anyone who has both the same gifts as you, because it's kind of an
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting combination, and we'll have to see how it plays out. You and I have spoken before about your human design chart, and that you're a 4-6 manifesting generator, which means you're good with coming up with ideas. That's the manifesting part. So manifesting doesn't mean that like the law of attraction, everything happens for you. It means that you're good with coming up with ideas. And then the generator part is that you can also execute. So it's a great combination. So I kind of feel like that goes in line with your reading too, in terms of being able to have creative ideas and speak up about them and then also do them. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then I was looking at your 4-6 profile, and your first 30 years of life is kind of like all this awakening and awareness. And then when you reach 30, like your second stage of life begins like a whole new like chapter of like implementation. So yeah, it'll be fun to see you grow and evolve, my friend. So that's so cool. Anything else you want to share about Debra's reading?
No, I think that was really the biggest part that resonated to me. And that was the majority of the reading that we were talking about anyways. So
yeah, no, I think that is, definitely was my favorite part of the reading, was learning that I'm a divine communicator. And when she gave me my reading, which was 2 years ago, it just really helped solidify the fact of being a coach and a consultant and a writer and a speaker was on my right path finally. Right. So, it's anyone out there listening, as I said last week, it's such a great gift for yourself, obviously, no matter what age you are, and also a great gift if you know a young adult who, is just beginning their, their journey into the real world, quote unquote, in terms of, going to college or going into the workforce, so they can kind of see if they're on the right path and how they feel about that. So that's too why I think it's really important to share this information for other people so they can book a call with Deborah and learn about themselves. So, yeah. So now let's talk about Medium. You have been crushing it. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. I've really been enjoying the journey on it.
Yeah. So what are like some favorite parts? And then what are some parts where you've had to kind of like do a little like pushing out of your comfort zone?
I would say finding new people has been really interesting to me, especially finding people that are my age or like around my age, I guess. It's really interesting to see that, because I really never thought that other people that in my age would be like interested in that stuff. So it's really cool to just see that. And also just following new people, writing about it. Writing, of course, is my favorite part, but it's really interesting.
Yeah. So have you found other writers that are about the same age as you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, wow. How many?
Probably 4, maybe.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because I know there is a guy, I think I told you about him a long time ago, and I know I follow him. I just can't remember his name. But what are some of the other writers writing about? Like, what are their genres, their topics?
One girl does poetry, which I think is really interesting. And one talks about like the changes in the world that she wants to like aid in. One of them does poetry, as I think a few do poetry actually. And then one talks more about like, I don't know, statistics, I would say, just like more like things in the business world.
Okay. And are they all like 16, 17, 15? Like,
yeah, around there.
Wow. Do you remember anyone's names that you want to give a shout out, or you can email me the names and I'll put them in the show notes?
Yeah, I'll email you those names because I do not remember them.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone listening, then we will put those names in the show notes. So if you are on Medium, definitely follow those writers as well. And if you're not on Medium or you don't even know what the heck we're talking about, Medium is a blogging platform that I don't know how long it's been around, but definitely longer than I know off the top of my head. And oh gosh, there's like millions of subscribers and 200,000 writers, something like that. And any single topic you can think of is on Medium. So even if you're not a blogger or a writer or an author, but you just want to read some really great content that can be anything from politics to personal development to relationships, you name it, it's there. Social media tips. It's just a really great platform, and it only costs $5 a month or $50 for the year. And I'll put my affiliate link in the show notes as well. So it's just a great way to get started. If you're thinking about writing, it was suggested to me back in 2019. So I started in February 2020, right before COVID. And then I took a break, and then I came back in October of 2022 after my second book. So, and then Sienna started on the last day of her 15th birthday. So yeah. And how many articles do you have so far?
I think 6. I don't know.
I think 6 too, just from my memory. I think you have 6.
Yeah.
So, and one is a poem, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So it's really great. And the platform's just really great because, no one's judging you. So it's a great way to get started and figure out how to become a better writer without having to deal with any of the triggers around that. You can self-publish, you can try to be part of publications, do what feels best for you, but you can just hit the button and it goes out there in the world. And one of the other things I really love about Medium, and one of the reasons why I use the platform, is it has an 86 domain rating, which means that out of 100, it has an 86 score with Google, which is really, really good, which means that if you're writing about a certain topic, you have the likelihood to get discovered by someone who just goes into Google looking for information on that topic. So that's really, really important. Whereas like an average person's website, an average person, their domain rating might only be like 5. So you have just a better chance of getting discovered if you blog about topics that people are searching for on that platform. It just kind of increases your chances. So it's just really, really great. And I also have a Medium Accelerant course that I'll put the link in the show notes. That's only $47, but that will help you jumpstart faster if it is something you are interested in doing. So I will put that information in the show notes as well. So, but Sienna's doing awesome. And I looked, you had 78 followers the other day. I think that was Friday when I looked. Did you happen to check today?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So when Sienna gets to 100 followers, so I'm just giving a little plug there too. And this goes for anyone if you're starting on the platform. When you get to 100 followers, you get behind the Medium paywall, which means that you can start to get paid. And Medium works by the amount of read time that someone spends reading your articles. So whatever, algorithm they have built in can measure how much time someone is spending reading your article, and you see that in your statistic report, and then you get paid accordingly. So is someone going to become a millionaire using Medium? No. But it's a good way to work on understanding that you can get paid for writing, which is often a limiting belief of people, that they don't think that they could get paid high value or value at all for their service in a lane such as writing, speaking, coaching, etc. So often a lot of people, when they start in this lane of personal development and self-help, they don't believe that they can get paid. It's like a subconscious limiting belief. So if you can start to get paid for your writing, it will help you in the long term, so you don't have to try to conquer that when you're 40 years old. So anyhow, so those are all my little plugs about Medium, and definitely follow Sienna. We'll put her profile link in. Do you have another article on Doc?
No, I don't. I've been thinking about writing one about a book that I'm reading in English class, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay. What's the book in English class?
It's called East of Eden.
Oh, it's that sex book we were talking about.
Yeah.
Is it naughty?
It's not really about that though. It's like, that's like not even a big part of it though.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
I've never read it and I've never seen the movie, but I remember when the movie came out, it was kind of supposed to be a little naughty. That's why I'm messing with you. So anyhow.
Yeah, I haven't watched the movie.
So, well, I end up writing when I feel inspired, and that's energetically how I suggest things to most people. However, some people say you should write every day, but if you're not feeling energetically aligned, it doesn't really do you any good. So,
Yeah.
To figure out some balance there, obviously you don't want to be someone who never writes if you're intending to be a writer. So you have to figure that out. But I don't believe in forced action. I don't think that feels good. So, yeah. I hope to get one up today. So we will see and see how it goes. And then we're going to start working on our book together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking like mid-April, if that sounds good to you. So I'm just sharing this not only for Sienna, but also for anyone out there interested in writing a book. I just start by jotting down ideas in a journal, like ideas that come to me. I ask the divine for help. If I'm on my walk and I think of ideas, I either type myself a message or record it in my phone with my voice recording app. And, once you just kind of start to gather ideas, gather stories, gather tips, however you're trying, whatever genre you're trying to write about, just kind of start to gather that information. And then it'll start to evolve. So, Sienna, as you're, going through your day, if you have an idea or story, just write it in your journal and just start keeping track. So then when we get going in about a month, then we'll kind of have a bank that we can kind of start to build a foundation on.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was super fun. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you want to add or share?
Nope.
I'm taking a sip of water. I did a lot of talking this time, but I had a lot to say. So anyhow, well, thank you again. And thank you everyone for listening. As I mentioned already, I will put everything in the show notes. We covered a lot of ground today, a lot of really important information, a lot of things that hopefully can motivate some people to maybe try some different things or look into some different things between soul readings or medium or following some of these other writers that Sienna mentioned. And until next time, be grateful, be curious, always be learning, and have some fun too. And Sienna, how would you like to close out?
Well, you know what? Just go with your gut.
I love that. And I love you so much. Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.